morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. It's always great to be attending this conference. I've attended now for the past few years with Brian, and over that time period, the company's absolutely undergone quite a transformational phase. So today, I'm really happy to walk you through some of those key milestones that we've been able to accomplish, and most importantly, walk you through some of the upcoming catalysts and why now is really one of the most exciting times for AbraSilver throughout our history. Of course, standard looking for disclaimers. Our key project is called Diablillos. This is a large-scale primary silver and gold project in the mining-friendly province of Salta in Argentina. This is quite a large-scale project now, and so Brian's been invested with us really from the onset, which was since 2019. At that stage, when we acquired this project, it was about 130 million ounces of silver equivalent, so it had a good-sized resource. But our exploration team, based down in Argentina, has really done a phenomenal job for us, growing this on a very, very consistent basis. And so fast forward to where we sit today, we have a resource north of 250 million ounces of silver, so we've doubled that resource, and we've been able to achieve that with one of the lowest, if not the lowest, all-in discovery cash costs throughout the entire silver sector. So for every 11 cents we've spent on exploration over the last 5 years, we've been able to add an ounce of silver in the ground. And so really all the credit goes to our exploration team led by Dave O'Connor down in Argentina, who've just done a great job growing this project organically over time on a very, very cost-efficient basis. Now, last year was certainly a transformational year for us. In fact, we announced 2 pre-feasibility studies. So the first one we announced in March, very, very robust returns. But then in July, President Javier Milei introduced this strong economic incentive package, which I'll talk about. It's known as the RIGI package, which for projects that qualify, which we do, lowers the corporate tax rate significantly, removes export duties, and so we offered these massive economic incentives, which added hundreds of millions of dollars to our net present value. And so then, after that was announced, we announced an updated pre-feasibility study. We announced that in December, which now includes RIGI, and the updated study done at quite conservative commodity prices. So $25.50 silver, just over $2,000 gold, has north of $1 billion net present value Canadian. And fast forward to current commodity prices, if you use today's spot prices, this project has over $2 billion net present value. So this is a project that's large scale, good production rates here, at the very low end of the all-in sustaining cash cost curve. It's in the lowest quartile, so exceptional margins really under any foreseeable silver and gold price cycle. Now, another key catalyst that we just recently closed was financing. We just raised $58 million Canadian, and that was done with no warrants. And so that was a combination between a private placement of some of our strategic investors, namely Central Puerto, which is the largest utility company in Argentina. They're a blue chip company. They actually trade on the New York Stock Exchange. They now became our largest shareholder. They increased their stake up to 9.9%. And then Kinross Gold, which first invested in us last year, also maintained their interest. And so they contributed to maintain their 4% stake. So that was the private placement, no brokerage fees, again, no warrants, so minimal dilution there. And then we also completed a $30 million bought deal led by National Bank and Beacon. Again, very, very favorable terms. And that allowed us to bring some large, well-known institutional shareholders as well as part of the register. So now we have a very, very clean capital structure. Even post-financing, over 150 million shares outstanding, no warrants, with all the cash we need to get this project to the construction decision. Just quickly looking at where our project's located, it's right in the heart of the mining district of the Salta province of Argentina. And so Salta is very much known as sort of the Nevada of Argentina. It's consistently ranked #1 overall by the Fraser Institute and by many other surveys, not only within Argentina, but across Latin America. And so very, very favorable mining conditions. When you drive to site, this is sort of what you see. So our key deposit, Oculto, is just underneath this hill here, and you can see why mining is very favorable here. There's zero agriculture, there's no communities nearby. It's when you're driving there, it really feels like you're on the moon. So you see nothing but really mines. So around us, there's a number of lithium projects that have recently been built. There's been billions of dollars invested. You drive straight from Salta, so even though this is remote, the infrastructure is excellent. And so you drive from Salta, it takes you about 6 hours, and you drive right up to site, accessible year-round. Now, this is sort of the track record again from our exploration team as they've grown this consistently year after year. So we've completed the pre-feasibility study, was based on the last resource estimate announced in November of 2023. We've actually now just completed another 20,000 meter drill program. We're waiting for some of the final results. So we'll have some press releases coming out here over the weeks and months ahead. And then we'll be updating the resource estimate by mid-year this year. And then that will be the basis for the feasibility study. So we're now going into a definitive feasibility study. That's going to be ready by this time next year. So obviously a very, very important catalyst for us. Just a quick review of the pre-feas figures. You can see, again, large-scale operation. This is open pitable, easy to mine, easy to process, very good gold and silver recoveries. This has, with the existing resource, already a 14-year mine life, producing at 9,000 tons per day. And so very good production levels, especially in the first 5 years. Where you could see our silver equivalent production is over 16 million ounces for the first 5 years of the production life cycle here, with very, very low all-in sustaining cash costs, again, averaging about $12 to $13 an ounce. So massive margins, massive free cash flow, even at current commodity prices. This is a chart here that was the basis of the pre-feasibility study. We think with the updated resource, we can enhance this even further. And so you can see, we'll be addressing the dip here. We're looking to maintain at least 8 years of 15 million ounces plus of silver equivalent production. And again, very, very few projects out there, really, if you're looking for silver exposure. Primary silver projects with no base metals. This is 100% precious metals, 60% silver, 40% gold. At this advanced stage, we'll be getting our permits later this year. We'll have a definitive feasibility study. We're fully funded to achieve all those milestones. And then this is ready for a construction decision in about 15 months' time. Now, RIGI is very, very important. So yeah, I could talk about this for the entire 10 minutes. But in Argentina, President Javier Milei has really transformed that country over the last 12 months. And so some of his economic policies are clearly working. He's brought down inflation from 25% per month. Now it's down to about 2% per month. And some of the large economic incentives that he's offering really stand out and make Argentina an extremely compelling place now to do business. This is the first time you've been able to say that for decades. But fortunately for us, this new RIGI incentive regime is one of those big economic incentives. So basically, this was passed into legislation in July of last year, 2024, and it's only in effect for 2 years. So RIGI, as it stands today, expires after July of 2026. Meaning you have to apply, you have to be approved by July 2026, which we will certainly do. And then once you're approved, you then have another 2 years to spend a minimum of 40% of your CapEx, and your total CapEx has to be north of $200 million. And so clearly, again, we qualify for this. We'll be applying by this time next year. We expect to have RIGI approval, and then you have a 2-year period to start spending at least 40% of your capital costs. And so this is really meant to encourage private investment into the country. I know to date, there's been over $11 billion of new projects that have already applied for RIGI. And so those are going to be in direct investments into the country within the next 2 years. And Diablillos on the silver and gold side, on the precious metal side, is the only project that we know of in a junior company that qualifies for RIGI. So if you're an existing operator in Argentina, you don't get the benefits of the lower taxes, the elimination of export duties, et cetera, unless you're investing over $200 million. And so we're really very, very fortunate to have RIGI, and the fact that this timeline coincides perfectly with our existing plans is extremely fortunate for us. So maybe I'll just skip ahead. In terms of exploration, we've been drilling around Oculto and Jack. We'll be announcing the updated resource there, which we expect to grow. And there's this new area, Cerro Viejo, that we're very, very excited about. We drilled one hole into that zone, that was right here. And you could see some of the gold intercepts we encountered in oxides. 36 meters, almost 2 grams of gold. Just downhole depth of 87 meters. So that's a new area that we're looking to focus on now as we, advance Diablillos towards a construction decision. Just one of the final slides here. You look at our pre-feasibility study. Of course, our market cap has grown significantly over the last few years. So now a question I'm getting asked quite a bit is, look, have I already missed the opportunity? When you look at the existing pre-feasibility study based on existing conservative commodity prices, the net present value, again, is $1 billion Canadian. We're trading at about 400 million market cap. So on a net present value per share, if you divide that by our current shares outstanding, the net present value here is close to $7 a share, and we're trading at around $3 a share. So we're still trading at a deep discount to the conservative commodity price assumptions used in the pre-fees. And again, if you apply current spot prices, the net present value per share we already have based on our existing resource is north of $13. So still, significant opportunity to unlock value here for shareholders. I'll just skip ahead to the final slide that shows you the timelines. So over the next 12 months, you can expect a lot more drilling. We're going to be announcing a Phase 5 drill program shortly, so stay tuned for that. We're doing lots of test work to continue to optimize that mine plan, update a mineral resource estimate by middle of this year. We'll get our EIA permits in place later on this year as well. And then next year, really, by this time, completing a feasibility study, and then we're shovel ready to hit the ground with a construction decision by middle of next year. So really, really exciting opportunity for us. I think I'm out of time, unfortunately. But thank you, everyone, for your attention. And I think we'll be taking Q&A. Is it at our booth? Yep. At my booth, the AbraSilver booth, just down the hall there. So thank you very much, everyone.